But my question is tonight, what happens if you forget your wetsuit? Okay, I got another story for you. You like that? You know, transition here? So, yeah, that's a big guy in a wetsuit. So I had the privilege my junior year at UC Davis and to take a scuba diving class. Are they still teaching that here? In Hickey Pool, it was like 7 a.m. Twice a week, I believe it was. Strapped on the wetsuit, got on my bike, and yeah. And I showed up in the Hickey Pool, and yeah, that was awkward, just riding a wetsuit, wearing a wetsuit and riding a bike. But yeah, I got trained to scuba dive, and my dad, he actually let me borrow his wetsuit because he was outgrowing his, much like Val Kilmer. That's Val Kilmer, actually. That's not my dad. But my dad's way cooler than Val Kilmer. Doesn't he look a little different than he did in the Batman movie? Do you remember? Yeah. Anyway, he also wore a black suit in Batman. Lord bless him. So I took the scuba class. I got to borrow my dad's wetsuit, and just like the little analogy we're using here tonight, that wetsuit eventually became mine. So I now have a wetsuit, and this wetsuit sits in my Rubbermaid bin in my garage with all my other scuba stuff. Actually, my dad gave me his little BC vest. I think I'm saying that right. So I'm ready to go scuba diving at any point. And some of you guys might know about me. I love the ocean. I love San Diego. I think that's a great place. We went out to a conference in Arizona with my family this summer, and I made a detour on the way home, from here to Arizona, or Arizona to here, and went through San Diego. Just, it's not on the way at all. It's actually 2 hours, but I just love the beach. I love the ocean, and we actually hit Santa Barbara on the way back. And I make a point to get to the ocean whenever I can. But I tell you, I just don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that I'm not getting sleep, and I have in the last several years of raising kids. But I forget my wetsuit every time I go. And I love just to go into the ocean and splash around. And it's cold, especially in Northern California. Ocean is cold. And I even forgot the wetsuit when I went in the winter to Hawaii. I forgot it even then. Routinely, I forget it every time. Like, Jen, I forgot the wetsuit. And just to show you, I can make a plan and stick to it. Last spring, our 5-year anniversary, we went to Stinson Beach, and I remember my wetsuit. And Jen sat on the beach, and I went and played in the water for like 20 minutes. And it's very childlike of me, but the point is, we often forget what we have, don't we? And John is encouraging us to remember, right here in this passage, very simply. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. We have access to this fully furnished place with everything for life and godliness, including how to love God and love others. But often we don't rely on that love, and we try to do things in our own strength. And it just doesn't work. It's like Carson renting out my condo and not using my refrigerator. I have this ice box. Maybe that's what he would call it, like a cooler or something. And you have all these. You have the couch, and you're not sitting on the couch. It's like you have all these great things to use, but we're not using it. So just the question basically tonight is: do you know what you have access to? And we find out what we have access to by reading His Word, by going deep in Scripture and learning and reading through 1 John. There's so much we haven't talked about this fall in 1 John, just because we could basically take over your whole, quarter classes if we wanted to go there. We can spend all day reading in 1 John and learning more and more. There's so much that we can learn we have access to. And basically, are you relying on His love to love others? It takes His love to love others. We just don't got it in ourselves. And I'm just asking tonight, are you depending on yourself, or are you depending on Him? So, okay, once you sign the lease agreement and remember the wetsuit, then you got to go into the front room. Oh yeah. Do you guys have that room in your parents' house that you can't really spend a lot of time in because it's so nice? You guys have that room? Yeah. No, you don't have that? Okay. Well, in my house, we had the living room, which we didn't live in. We lived in the family room where the TV was. But the living room was the front room where we went in for company and for holidays. And there's a nice couch in the living room. It was just, the nice. That wasn't it, but that's just a quick Google search. And Victorian couch, that's the kind of, is an example of this. What I'm trying to say here, guys. but the front room was nice. And Mom was like, okay, you can, don't eat in there. You guys know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So, interesting thing here, it's kind of a bummer, but in 2009, my parents started the process of splitting up. They sold their house, and they're going through divorce. It sucks. There's no better word to describe it than it just sucks. It really does. 30 years of marriage, they're throwing in the towel. It just kills me. But with the process of that, all their stuff, right, had to go into storage. Well, at the same time, my family, we moved into this nice big house in Woodland, and it's big. I love this house in Woodland. We got a lot of space. You guys haven't been over, come on over. It's just a 10-minute drive. You can go to the taco truck with Chris, and you have fun. But or see Katie. She was in Woodland as well. It's a great house. We have a lot of space, and my mom was paying a couple $100 every month to store all this stuff, including all of the nice furniture from the front room. And so my mom said, you know what, I'd rather see this stuff get used. And so, believe it or not, the front room furniture is in my front room. And we have a different policy in my house because I just don't have the strength to hold this little red-headed child back. She's a wild child. And routinely, the pillows of the nice Victorian couch, it's not Victorian, it's floral, but the nice couch get thrown onto the floor, and the pile of the pillows and the cushions becomes the ocean. And she routinely walks the plank of the springs on the couch and jumps into the ocean. Thank you, VBS at DCA, if you were there. Yeah, the whole thing was a pirate theme. And Pastor Jonathan had the kids every day do the memory verse and then go like that and then walk the plank. They had a plank and they jumped onto the mattress. But so cute. But Joy, the front room furniture is being used. And my mom comes to visit, and the first few times she visited, I was like, oh man, the front room stuff, we gotta make sure it looks nice. We gotta wipe down the wooden table, we're borrowing that too. Pretty much all the furniture in my house is my mom's right now. And the first few visits, I was just nervous. I was like, I don't want to mess this stuff up. I was kind of afraid that she'd get mad or not respecting her stuff. But my mom, she wasn't worried about it. She wasn't worried. She's going through some other stuff in her life right now, and that was the least of her concern. That she was just blessed to see her grandkids using the furniture and using it to its fullest potential and things where she didn't imagine when she spent a couple grand on that couch. I don't know how much she spent. I'm just theorizing. I got mine, from the guy's garage. He was a roommate, the black couch. Okay, we did. Circular thinking, circular. The point is, God's not worried that you're going to mess up His love, that you're going to mess up His stuff. He's not worried. So let's read that passage that John wrote again. It's one of my favorite passages. And a little lengthy, follow me. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence in the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. So Mom lets us use this stuff, right? And lets us use it with no stipulation. She knows the risk, and she's okay with it. And she likes that her stuff's being used. And God knows the risk of trusting us with His love, trusting us as us, messed up, fallen people, to be communicators of this precious gospel that we sing these beautiful songs about. He trusts us. He knows the risk, and He says it's worth it to partner with us, to have friendship and intimacy with us. It's worth it. Yeah, because God knows the potential that you and I have. So yeah, you may read this passage, it may get a little confusion, because it's, wait a minute, isn't the Old Testament, there's a lot of fear in the Old Testament. You read all these stories of we were watching Moses today. My kids love to play Moses. Ask Katie, every imagination thing. Let's see if this baby floats in a basket. They love to do that, right? Katie, you can share a story. You have any story with the kids?
We just are always playing pretend, and it always either starts when we find a baby in a basket, or we have to put our baby in a basket for a better life.
Yeah, that's my kids. But you read the Old Testament, and the ground is splitting open, and people who weren't following God are sucked up in the ground. You're there's a lot of fear in the Old Testament. But I got to tell you guys something. Something happened on that cross. The fullness of God's wrath was satisfied. Justice was satisfied on that cross. And the old covenant is no more. We are in a new covenant. We no longer, have to do animal sacrifice. There's just so much that you can look through. All the Old Testament is preparing us for this new covenant. For God wanted us to know the seriousness of choosing things that could hurt us, choosing sin. He wanted to know the danger of this. So yeah, that's why the Old Testament is so dramatic. But there is no fear because of what Christ did on that cross. Fear has to do with punishment, and Christ took our punishment on that cross. So I loved how last week Jack took that passage that was a little confusing, and he broke it down a lot of different translations. He had the amplified version of it, and I'd like to take this verse and amplify it. I don't have the amplified translation here, but I have some notes here that kind of breaks down this passage even more. But if you think about perfect means complete, total, lacking nothing, fulfilled. And think about love. Love is the kind of love that God demonstrated. It's sacrificial love. It's love that's patient, kind, doesn't envy or boast. You can think about that passage in 1 Corinthians 13, That's love. And I like how this passage here too says God is love. You can read 1 Corinthians 13 and substitute God is patient, He's kind, slow to anger. I love that. So the next part of the passage, drives out, means cast out and to throw out, remove, thrust away, force with intensity. And fear means alarm or fright, to be afraid of, or exceedingly afraid, to have fear or terror. How's that for a definition? But you put it all together, and I think you guys might have started reading it. You can go ahead and read it. Whoa, yeah, it's a lot of words. But this is the amplified version of this verse, not from the Amplified Bible, just to clarify. Help me with that word. Consummate, okay. Complete, total, and lacking nothing. Perfect love is completely pure, unselfish, and totally wanting the best of the best for everyone. This love, which is patient, kind, does not envy or boast, is not proud or rude, is not self-seeking or easily angered, and keeps no record of wrongs, does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. This perfect love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and never fails. This perfect love never changes and does not lie. It is this perfect love that powerfully throws out, casts away, removes, and thrusts with force and intensity the alarm, fright, fear, terror, and the internal cause of being exceedingly afraid. It's a lot there. This is a powerful, powerful scripture. It's clear. Those who are in perfect love do not fear, this scripture is saying. Perfect love gets rid of fear completely. Love surpasses fear. Its fear has to do with punishment. This kind of fear of being punished and to condemn, destroyed, or having repercussions or consequences for the wrong choices, thoughts, attitudes that we've made. The one who fears is not made perfect in love.